some of us never forget who we are. And so we get to bring to you the miracle of the inner child as an inner adult. And I'm attachment trauma informed, so being yourself is easy for those of us who did not lose our restorative embodiment. Now, the restorative embodiment self awareness is something I learned from my somatic courses, somatic therapy. I forget all the words, how to use them, meaning that I don't use words as labels. I don't do buzzwords. So you're going to hear me say I don't use words. And if you're a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, and stable brain, so you're integrated, means your emotional stuff is in your awareness, as are your thoughts, your verbal stuff, and you silence them and you share floor. So 3-year-olds who know how to share floor, I'm a 3-year-old, and you might be a whole 3-year-old. If you are, then you're having fun already. If you're not, then you might be like, I don't know about this. And that's called your own I don't like. And on that note, empowered women here, we talk about betrayal, nothing, discard, nothing again. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? My worth? This doesn't depend on you. Don't you know I'm a 0 1-year-old that's independent here because I have secure attachment? And I'm a 3-year-old who's also differentiated because the big grown-ups who were the securely attached figures that I was growing up with, they couldn't tell me, Maria, you need to think like us. I'd be like, nope, 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 nope. So differentiation of the self. But I did have this thing called a twin. So I learned how to be spirituality when I was in the womb because I'm beyond the solo self. There's another self with me. In fact, my umbilical cord or the umbilical cord was wrapped around my throat. We always joke about it because I'm a talker, as you can tell. Okay, so remembrance and universal love. I'm a 5D mystic in the enlightenment soul age group. It's very possible. Laundry is only for the people who are only using that left mode and have not expanded their window of tolerance at that point. If you think your emotions are laundry, it tells me that you're not completely integrated yet. Your integration of the brain is your lifting, not mine, because I don't have to lift. I love emotions. The depths of intimacy is of an inner child, which equals Krishna Lila, as Krishna Lila explores the depths of the profound with playfulness. Thank you, Sadhguru. So I bring spirituality and spiritual and human elements is what I call the sciences, because humanities, social sciences, plus I'm not an academic. So I support people who are serious about personal development and self-help. And look, here it is, being yourself, very easy. People misunderstand it for being a obnoxious squirrel from Cusco land. That's because those people are the spiritual bypassers. Their 4D stories are pseudo-aliveness. I've seen it in their eyes. And there's 3D also, who also do the pseudo-aliveness, but in a very different way. We'll get into that. So there is a different way that the 5D mystics feel, perceive energy. And I don't know how much I'm going to share with this in this one because I haven't chosen the title. So this one is a bit of channel guidance, a bit of sharing, and a bit of everything. That way you get to know your podcast host on video because usually we're doing audio. I don't tend to do video, until now. And eventually I'll probably have a setup with the cards. I love my cards. They do speak. The energy speaks. It's always amazing when we get to be more and more, what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. I'm choosing not to use words. But anyways, we'll get to that. See, I don't like to use words because people use them as labels. And I don't want to use labels. I want us to continue talking. Universal love is easy because I'm a human and you're human. And like Pacha tells Cusco, I know you have a heart. The miracle of knowing that you have a heart, for me, Jesus taught me how all people have a heart. And God taught me how I'm made just the way He wanted me to be made. So I was not going to desire to be anything different. In fact, I don't have, in any way, shape, or form, envy, jealousy, spite. But when I get stubborn, like my 3-year-old, there are those of my herd who think I do things as a spiteful 3-year-old. And I say, no, I'm not spiteful, but I am a 3-year-old. And I said, no. And that's Sid, Manny, and Diego. So when you have your own home, right, with the people you share it, we do 5D relationships here. We know how to do functional adults and tease and laugh and have fun. Why? Because nobody is in an inner child that has what is low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive, canceling each other by blocking and calling each other names, energy vampires, dark auras, or somebody actually talking about people, keeping them down like a crab in the bucket and stuff like that. Yeah, nobody talks about their family members that way or their relationships, not their twin flames, not their soulmates. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm integrating in this one the mystic stuff for my 5D mystics because it's time for them to have fun with Claire's versus what 4D is doing. And I remember noticing something's off. They keep talking about energy upgrades, DNA upgrades, 144,000. Now they've made the twin flame a trending topic. What are all the Elsa Journey people doing? Oh, that's right. They want a little shiny star, and they haven't gotten to the end of Elsa's journey. So the pseudo aliveness is their 1 year old. Let me out, let me out. Their 3 year old with rejection, abandonment, nowhere to be found. They just follow Venuses of goddesses of May and Mars. So I use Venus as a goddesses of May because I'm a woman. So I get to see the princesses out there telling women how not to be empowered. I laugh every time inside, and then I laugh with my empowered women, the 5D, either mystics or not, but we're all like, what? Empowered? Seriously? Is this what this is? No, that's not empowerment. Like, why are they all giggling like they're teenagers who are grown women? It's like, well, because they do stereotypes. You know how limitations of consciousness work, right? Because it's not just spiritual bypass. It's also the fact that if you have a trauma charge and or more and a trust break, which women who, as they get older, if they got discarded and betrayed and they didn't actually bring it full circle, they are going to go look for bystanders. See, number 4, to heal trauma. And trauma doesn't mean that you will have had emotional neglect or abuse or threat. No, that trauma charge, we all have trauma charges. We all have child parts. I got them right here. Mine are sleeping, though, because I grew up with emotional awareness and the verbal awareness. So in my brain, I use my imagination and my thoughts. The neuroplasticity agent of choice is imagination. So my focused attention when I'm thinking is on me. My focused attention, you can all have it. Aware. Let me open up to awareness. Oh yeah, what am I feeling? I'm pretty pissed right now. Why? Well, 3 year old, because what is it? What's going on out there? Okay, some other stuff. Let's have kind intention. Thank you, Jesus and God, teaching me how to be humble and nice and all that. I'm not going to have to be nice by saying I acquiesce. No, I'm just going to have to be a person who uses my tone, my modalities. Thank you, mother. Oh, that's right. I have a twin. You need to learn how to share the floor. So I learned how to have like passionate. Where are you? Passion. I'll see passion. That the miracle of passion. Let me just let you know about this. So a divine masculine is going to be passionate when he also has his divine feminine. If he has his inner child, let me out, there's no passion there. When a divine feminine has her divine masculine, you better bet she's passionate too, and she doesn't go chaos. Nobody goes chaos, nobody goes rigid. Nobody becomes the boundaryless, porous person who gets desperate and manipulative in the shame or controlling and angry. Thank you, Terrio, for your relationship grid. I've seen it between men and women, but I'm going to say as a woman, I've seen women behave in those two, the boundaryless, the love dependent, where they use those two very specific energies and modalities. And they come to me and then they want me to read them what's going to happen. Or, they come with some type of complaint and I say, look, source, universe, call it what you want. I'm going to inform you of the channeled guidance that is coming through, which is, okay, the circle of life you've done is done. I would say look into trauma bonding and limerence right now. Get out of rumination from your left mode and know your twin flame can't control your brain, even if you have telepathy, because you control the left mode. So you can stop the shutting of the mouth up for a minute and notice, oh, what's going on in your window of tolerance? Are you still here with me? Yes, you are. We're talking. You're not in structural dissociation yet, and if you are, I'll let you know. No, you're not conscious. You're playing out your 1 year old, your 3 to 7 year old. You're not being controlled by your twin flame or by a false twin flame or by anyone for that matter. Your embodied brain, you seem to not want to be self-aware, self-reflective, or notice that you have a mind and you can control it, first of all, become aware, and then decide a different reaction and really work with that as it comes up. So you want to expand your window of tolerance. So we do personal development, but I am attachment trauma informed enough to know that I've asked every therapist, so what do I do if I need somebody like you? Don't worry, Maria, you'll know if you need us. And I'm sure I will know because I can tell when people's nervous systems are changing, because as Daniel Siegel described in my course, Disorganized Attachment and Dissociative Identity Disorder, there are things that take place in here and there are things that we'll see. So body language, it's very clear to me. In fact, I noticed that I can tell a person's pattern by just being around them for about, I'm going to say 2 years, 3 years tops to figure out your cycle. But then again, I forget how it works with the neuroplasticity and all that. So you have choice points, which is what we are. That's why twin flames, there's no saga or drama for the empowered women, that are divine feminines, and that's the 5D mystics. So I'm here for those who want to be over here because the 4D are having fun on Nelson's journey. And they're here for a reason too, because they're all divine masculines, even though they think they're not, because they have clairs, they're using their left mode. Because see, I'm going to explain to you in a minute. When you have harmony, that would be where your inner child and you are friends and you're the inner adult. The inner child is the expert on the past. And you are an emotional being, first of all, and then your thoughts. Thank you, Janina Fisher, Julianne, just everyone that I learned from, Bezel Vanderkolk. Okay, so before we keep moving, again, the body is your divine feminine, the mind is your divine masculine. I like to then say the masculine is the left mode and the feminine is your right mode. That's how IHP here, Maria, does it. It's not a rule. We don't do rules. There are no truths. If you want truths, quote unquote, go to the peer-reviewed for data. There's a very specific way they build data. Not anybody who's on social media as a professional. Professionals support people with specific situations. In this case, I support personal development. I'm a content creator. If you meet an official politician, then they're going to be doing negotiation and rhetoric and the way that argumentation is for. If you meet them on doing social stuff, we all know the societal soul age group. They're still learning about the self. Oh, did I mention I'm the enlightenment soul age group? So yeah, I'm not learning about myself with others. I'm being myself right now with you. This is really fun because you get to just be you. Let's do Sadhguru. When you truly realize that you do not know, yep, I don't know shit, and there will be no prejudice, nope, not even a little bit, no judgment in you, nope, not even a little bit. Do you know why though? I know something called integration of brain and consciousness, thanks to Daniel Siegel. I know interpersonal neurobiology. So my left mode and my right mode, they work together, all hands on deck. It's called integration of the brain. Made visible, it's kindness and compassion, but we know that somebody might not like us if they don't know what secure attachment means and they are used to dysregulated nervous systems. They're going to find home with a person who has low self-esteem and direct communication, passive-aggressive manners, and do the martyr superior dance with the blamers. So all that I see out there. Okay, so Sadhguru will end. You will just become a being. Let me read that one more time. When you truly realize that you do not know, there will be no prejudice and no judgment in you. You will just become a being. So, you know, the spiritual bypassers, they talk to you all about this being thing and not thinking. They don't understand the personal development. I don't want to do it. Look, there's an energy vampire. Okay, so there's my twin flame. They're making me go on a mission. I got spiritually awoken by somebody or something. You're always spirituality awoken, essentially. But that's where, okay, so integration and consciousness. When you have a left, you put your left foot in, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about, okay? So when you have a window welcome for emotions, I do, because I have secure attachment. Again, the miracle of love. Thank you, twin. Thank you, mom. Thank you, home. And the miracle of being all brothers and sisters. Thank you, God and Jesus. Didn't need anything different, but yoga's trending. It's great that we have Sadhguru so that people can get their brain on track with integration. So what happens when we have childhood developmental trauma to the brain? Thank you, Daniel Siegel. The corpus callosum gets compromised in its growth. The hippocampus gets compromised in its growth. The prefrontal cortex gets compromised in its growth. And oh, lo and behold, the interconnected connectome gets compromised in its growth. And this is regurgitation of material because some things I get to remember, but remember, I'll fuck up the data sometimes. So it might be wrong. That's why I'm the pseudoscience woo-woo lady also, okay? So ask questions, and teenagers don't know how to ask. They want to prove they're right. So they come and say, you're confusing spirituality and sciences and human elements. And I will say, no, I'm not. I'm bringing them together. It's called consilience. Because I'm not looking close up at the elephant's foot and not noticing where the fuck I am. I know how to go far away and look at the bigger picture and be a multidimensional being. And, you know, when people say, I find it hard to believe, and it's like, okay, you know what? You can, 3-year-old, go and get educated, please. Please do. But I don't do any of this, by the way. I just share it with my community. You know why? Because I learned as a teenager what teenagers do. I don't have an ego. And you learn from, thank you, Terry Real, what a maladaptive child behavior does. An adaptive child is there for self-bridled expression. 3-year-old, here's the floor. They want to prove they're right or wrong because the left mode, I'm in control. I know everything. I'm not paying attention to what's coming up that I don't like this lady or what she said or whatever it is. It's called implicit bias, cultural, political, religious. It's called group mentality. Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter because I'm the evil bitch or the evil witch of somebody's story, right? And yoga, it brings demons out of you, according to some people. Oh, and Reiki, yeah, they decided to make it not the Holy Spirit because, didn't get the seal of approval from someone. So 3D, 4D, they love to prance around. And as I say, Peter Pan's, they got lost boys, lost girls, lost days, and they got a Wendy somewhere telling them what to speak about. And I know exactly who those Wendy's are. They're amazing, might I add. Okay, so when you have this, oh, I love having this. So I also saw this study, by the way, that shares how a brain like this can do what I just did. The difference is I'm not trying to prove shit. I'm just saying if you have integration of the brain, and there you go, flying, you're going to have some fun, which is what I'm having right now, because I knew that you could be yourself. I just didn't know how awesome it would be to explain it with the sciences people. Okay, hold on, because this is where I love being informal, so we're gonna stay informal. I'm gonna post this one. I'm an online marketer. You know what I do with the sales pitch people? Let's not even go there, please. Please, let's not go there, because seriously, I think of when I was a teenager, and I would be like, okay, I get frustrated with people's stupidity too. Believe me, but we're all sheep. We're all the masses, aren't we? Okay, so here's where the deal is. 5D masses, come on over because I didn't think the 3D, 4D would stay, but I'm pretty sure at this point that I understood, humanly speaking, this thing about how it works. So let me get into it in a minute because I do know I lost track of where I was headed before. Okay, so integration of the brain. When you're able to communicate with your feelings and yourself and not bring out some 3-year-old attitude and a teenager attitude is what I'm going to call it. You know how to just have what is a very nice conversation. And it's really nice when you have people that have healthy self-worth. So we have fun and we do not do the, oh no, my twin flame, they left me. Ah, it's never truly the end. Oh, we always know everything's going to be okay. You know why? I'm an inner child. My mother taught me, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And I'm not joking right now. I accept what is. God told me, I'm going to give you life and you accept it. And I'm like, okay, fine. I will accept. I will accept whatever you send me, God. And I remember having a conversation about that. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. And you are enough. So when you're a healthy self-worth person, because you did have a child-centric environment, which I did, you know about synergy and you know about alchemy and you know about not ever getting lost. I didn't get lost once I got clairs. I got sad because I knew that the Jesus that I grew up with in God would not be accepted. I won't be. I'm not. I was a Reiki master, an Akashic record reader, a tarot card reader. As a mystic, I'm not accepted and welcomed by all. That makes my heart sad because sadness is about connection. And I'm a mammal and you're a mammal. And I'm a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I don't care if you don't like me because I know my worth. It's called I'm enough for me and I'm imperfectly flawed and it's okay because I didn't do anything to you. I didn't touch you. I didn't physically harm you. I didn't spit at you. I didn't do anything, but you're going to assume shit from your brain and you're going to want me to catch it and throw it back, which I won't. Because the difference is my nervous system knows how to stay in my prefrontal cortex because I have no trust break with humanity. I'm not a misanthropist. I don't have a trust break with men. I'm not a misogynist or whatever those words are. I don't have a trust break with women or theys or any of it. I don't have a trust break with the entire system because I'm a political science major who realized exactly where the system was flawed. And that's when I said, do I think I'll be helping people the way my 8-year-old self said I wanted to help people behind a desk with an entity and or whatever organization that is not actually supporting people to be their self? No, I like being an online entrepreneur. I'm going to go down that path. And so here we are. Okay. And here's where the frequency of synergy. It supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to new reality. The only reason I'm here is because of the attachment and trauma researchers. So I thank them. Of course, I thank everyone else, God, Jesus, my mom, my twin, my sister, my younger one, my family, my friends, all of that. But the reality is, it's thanks to education that I can share with you why, for me, it's easy to be myself and why it's hard for other people. Also, why a 5D mystic will let you know sciences and spirituality are walking a path together. Difference is spirituality dispels, no, spirituality creates myths with the spiritual 4D, 3D who want to stay in ancient biblical texts and stories. Sciences dispels the myths, like Patrick McNamara, a neuroscientist, who shares what happens nightmare after nightmare and that it's not a demon that possesses anyone. And as a 5D mystic with Claire's who does Akashic record readings, I can tell you that when I look in the eyes of any human being, I know that it's a person with a heart. And it's sad when you see people who are in spiritual bypass or who are using their neuroplasticity agent, imagination, to lock themselves into what is a shame cycle. Inner critic, outer critic. They go and do the drinking, the fucking, the drugging, the whatever it is that they decide to do in small doses. Year after year after year, you're going to armor yourself in, is a word that I learned from the psych educators. The 4D use it in some random bullshit way that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, which is why sciences prevails in the book of a person who's 5D, because I have an integrated brain. You don't pull wool over my eyes. I can hear what you're speaking, and I'm going to notice something's off. So when you tell me yoga brings demons out of you, I'm going to be like, wait a minute. No, that doesn't sound right. If you tell me Reiki is an evil energy, no, that doesn't sound right. It sounds more like a belief system. If you tell me tarot is the devil, nah, I don't think. I think if I read textbook, I can figure out where you're getting that from. It's like, oh, walk underneath the ladder. It's going to bring you bad luck. Oh, you broke some glass. So, long story short, it's kind of like magic. Science is magic that works. Mysticism is not magic. We have a relational field. In fact, the physicists look into it, quantum physicists. So, science is spirituality. They work hand in hand. The only ones who are still in a competition, guess who those are? They don't alchemize. Let's look at alchemy. Alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. You can't remember who you are if you're not innocent yet here, because you're going to be playing out your 0-1 attached panicky and your 3-7 shame submissive. Your inner child is the expert on the past, but as long as you're a maladaptive child behavior of yourself, you are not yet in your prefrontal cortex because you're not yet able to be flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, which means to notice, oh, look, I have feelings that are tainting something. Let me put them to the side. Personality, hold on a minute. Temperament, hold on. Let me speak. Because I'm having what is a social moment like social media, which makes me laugh every time people think it's social media's fault that we have disinformation. No, it's people's that don't know how to know one social media not equal to academia. Academia not bad. They have a lot of different things that we want to work on, yes, but to make all of mass media bad. You know what makes me laugh is the contradiction when some of these people they get on YouTube and they say you need to get off of technology. It's distorting this. And I'm thinking, do you know what you're using? Because apparently you're not really aware that you can spread, message by word of mouth. You don't need to be online, but I see that you are using technology and you're at the same time wanting to make a statement of get offline. You think you're going to get any more subscribers if the people actually listen to you? So, long story short, it's very funny when you see inconsistencies because that means they're not securely attached. In fact, there's not an inner child with a grown up here. There's only an inner child who's speaking like a teenager does. You know, when we're like, let me talk about something and we don't know what we're talking about. I remember doing that. And I remember as I've expanded how I know now better the words that I use, like consciousness or enlightenment. Or what else is there? Empowerment, too. Okay, let's finish with alchemy. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. And this is the part of where these words mean something significantly beautiful. In the 5D spectrum, we have those who are able to use the ancient stories in a way that is applicable to the modern day and not to distort it with spiritual bypass. Okay, so ancient stories are important in the ancient knowledge, but when you have people who are using them to organize And so again, when somebody's wanting to use devil, demon, evil spirits, energy vampires, dark auras, when you see teenagers, it's easy because they're using words and organizing people in groups. And they're forgetting the human element, which is you're an actual human. And that's very basic. I'm not even kidding. They're in pseudo aliveness. The fact that they don't realize it is because it's a maladaptive child behavior who is using their left mode and is not noticing that their right mode still has a 0 1 year old. So we'll conclude with this. The reason that there are people out there trying to convince anyone of any of the spiritual stories, the in betweens is what I call them, even though we're all in betweens for mystics, because really we're not sciences, we're not spirituality, at least for the 5D, we're both. And I love being both. I love being able to say, here's a pacha. With Cusco's, we support them because we're all part of the same whole, the same star. Where's my star? And that's the part that we'll get to that in another episode. But the pieces, the fragments of you, and we're all fragments of each other. But the fragments of you specifically, when you're on your spirituality journey, whether you're a divine masculine or divine feminine, you will bring each other home to being your mission, yourself. So not on else's journey. To be able to be beyond the solo self, connection. And that's why it will lead you always back to your humanity. I love Jesus for that reason. He walked with the people, talked with the people. When I think of putting Jesus and then Buddha's story, I'm going with Jesus. I know what Buddha supports because yoga is a portfolio of ventral vagal nervous system toning exercises. I know this thanks to Stephen Porges. And I know thanks to Daniel Siegel, Bezel van der Kolk, Janina Fisher, all my courses, Somatopia, there's so many. But I know what mindfulness works. The mind. Those 4 areas that are compromised by childhood developmental trauma, hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, again, interconnected connectome, and forgot one, where are you? Well, anyways, you heard them. Corpus callosum connects left and right. Those are what mindfulness supports because focused attention, awareness, and kind intention is what involves you working with your mind, which will then work with your brain structure. And your brain structure is an embodied brain. These are data points that have been accumulated throughout the past, I don't even know how many years. And you learn about it seriously if you care about supporting people's inner and outer well-being, which is what I care about. So you being able to be yourself and me being able to share fun stories because I've always known I'm enough because I got to grow up in a safe environment where I did get told, accept what is. Sometimes you're not going to get what you want. Sometimes you will, but it's okay because it's never the end. Stop whining, 3-year-old. And that's because I didn't get fear-mongered when I was being explained that. So again, when you have an inner child, you're a human spirit. That's what you are. And that's why for me, Jesus walked and did and stayed. Buddha, on the other hand, there's all this stuff about yoga and meditating and sitting in silence. And every time I think about that, I'm like, okay, how much more time? You got 24 hours. I'm ready to go and take care of things. But that yoga stuff is needed for people who can regain what is access to their mammalian heritage because they didn't get the opportunity from their own home. Okay, and that's the part of where by being a herd who understands healing trauma is important, but only when people are wanting to do it. So it's either personal development, self-help, or it's somebody who's coming after they started EMDR, child parts work, and somatics because they understand that there's an inner child. They're also ready to not project. You can't talk like that. Excuse me. What? So step 4 for recovery of trauma, which can involve trust breaks, which is where you find the princesses of Venuses of May with all of those stereotypes and any just story. That's where those people are for the ones who are not going to move on over here, which again it's humorous. We get to have entertainment. I go online and I entertain myself. I go outside, I entertain myself. I don't watch movies. They don't entertain me because they perpetuate what is ignorance and what is stereotypes and what is basically stigmatizing those people who do have mental health diagnoses that are healable because they're not broken. Because again, I'm attachment trauma informed and I am not a mantle of mental health and I'm not a mantle of yoga. So sciences and spirituality, when you meet a person who's serious, it's because we're open-hearted and say, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait at least 3 times before I say something. And then I'm going to wait some more. And then I'm going to wait a little bit longer. So I got to wait a little bit longer before being able to say, okay, now I know how I can share the light worker's journey, the 5D mystic, how I can create a community with people so that they can be their self easily, one. Know that enlightenment is really possible, and let's have fun together with our empowering relationships, also supporting people to heal trauma seriously so we don't run away and kick people to the curb and use words like covert narcissist, sociopath, bipolar, or any of it, borderline. So I see people liking to use these words, their pathology. They create lists of let's just all stay this way, versus understanding that the journey step by step is how you get yourself to expand. This is why it's your motivation, but it's so small and minute that you find people saying, I don't want to do journaling and mindfulness or meditation because I'm doing a good job already. We're all fucked up, so why not stay this way? Because you don't know the other end yet. You don't know what it's like to be present yet because you haven't consistently continued to do, okay, let's ease into it. And that's where we are here. For those who want to ease into what is blissfulness, by the way, enlightenment, the human way, is restorative embodiment. It's you choosing love and not the human suffering love narrative. The ones who want that, they got 3D, 4D for all that. And then we're also here to become successful entrepreneurs, work with each other, and do a lot of everything is possible. And anyone who has a problem, for every solution we give them, like Albert Einstein shares, we say, okay, you know what? It's such a pleasure to see you. I think we'll talk later. Maybe we won't, because intellectually it's unstimulating, by the way. For brains that like to think, we don't like people who present inconsistent, silly information. After you've told me one time something, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then by the time I get to second, okay, now you're sounding like a broken record, which I can sound like too. I do recognize we all can do that. But okay, I digress. I'm going to get ready for our next episode. In the meantime, thank you for stopping by. Subscribe if you'd like. And remember, you can ask Maria. The columnist opinionated podcast episodes for now are available only on Spotify and any of your favorite podcast platform audio version. Once we get to 1K here, we're going to have video version for you as a membership option. And for my mystics, the 5D, let me know who you are and what kind of content you would want for your spirituality journey stuff, but not the 4D way. Because your mission, number one, is that you are your inner child, because that's what's beautiful and fun. And also that's what helps you to stay grounded in your energetic body. So to be continued again. Thank you for stopping by.